Have you ever wondered about legendary figures from ancient times who left an indelible mark on history? Well, the Queen of Sheba is one of those intriguing figures whose legacy spans across cultures and continents. But who was she exactly? What is remembered and cherished about the Queen of Sheba is her unwavering quest for wisdom and knowledge, along with her courage to embark on a challenging journey for the sake of her kingdom's prosperity. Yes, today we are going to uncover the intriguing mystery and legacy of the Queen of Sheba, exploring her journey, her kingdom, and the enduring tales that surround her. Meanwhile, give us a few seconds to thank everyone who has subscribed, liked, and shared our videos. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to our channel, like the video, and hit the notification bell to stay updated and help us grow even more. Now, let's begin. The ancient Middle East and Arab world were famed for their rich tradition of folktales and storytelling shared across various cultures and religions, including Judaism. These stories, often spread by merchants and traders, are sometimes questioned due to their many versions, supernatural elements, and lack of evidence. However, some tales persist, bolstered by archaeological findings, while others remain mysterious. One such enduring tale is that of the Queen of Sheba. Whether rooted in myth or history, the Queen of Sheba stands as a symbol of female empowerment, inspiring us with her wisdom, selflessness, and bold demeanor. Though the existence of the Queen of Sheba is a matter of debate among historians, her story weaves an intricate web of wisdom, diplomacy, and cultural exchange, captivating imaginations and echoing through the annals of biblical, Quranic, and world heritage. In Ethiopian tradition, the Queen of Sheba, known as Queen Makeda, shares a compelling narrative with the biblical account found in 1 Kings 10, verses 1 to 13. According to Ethiopian historical texts, particularly the Kebra Nagast, the Glory of Kings, Queen Makeda ruled over a prosperous kingdom. In both the Ethiopian narrative and the biblical account, Makeda traveled from her kingdom to Jerusalem to meet King Solomon. If we follow the Hebrew version, she visits Solomon around 950 BC. Her exact origins are unclear, with some believing she came from Yemen, others suggesting southern Arabia, and some claiming Africa. Archaeological evidence points to Ethiopia as a likely home, given its ancient civilizations and rich trade history, particularly in gold. The Kingdom of Sheba, whether in Ethiopia or another location, was described as a prosperous land, benefiting from its proximity to Egypt and Israel. Ethiopian tradition identifies her as Queen Makeda, linking her to the Solomonic dynasty through her son Menelik, while Yemeni tradition associates her with the prosperous Sabaean kingdom, known for its control of lucrative trade routes. According to Ethiopian belief, Makeda was renowned for leading her people away from sun worship to monotheism, displaying strong leadership during a time when queens seldom ruled alone. Upon assuming power after the king's demise, she restored stability to her kingdom but faced challenges due to her lack of formal preparation for governance. Despite her strength, she lacked the education typically provided to male heirs, and she sought a mentor to navigate the complexities of ruling such a vast realm. King Solomon of Israel, the son of David, was renowned for his wisdom, which he chose over wealth and glory when God asked for his ultimate desire. His wisdom led him to build a magnificent temple, searching far and wide for the finest materials. Tamrin, a merchant from Sheba, traveled to Israel and was captivated by its splendor and Solomon's humility and wisdom. He returned to Sheba, praising Solomon, which intrigued Queen Makeda. Fascinated by the tales of Solomon, Makeda decided to visit Israel to seek his wisdom. She prepared a gift for Solomon that required nearly 800 camels, along with several mules and donkeys, to transport the stones and gold to Israel. The long-awaited day finally arrived when Makeda reached Israel. Solomon stood and watched as the multitude of camels made their way toward the city. As she entered the room, her tall and slender figure, dark skin, and flamboyant yet fearless demeanor immediately captivated the king of Israel. Solomon, intrigued by her visit, welcomed her warmly. He showed her the utmost hospitality, providing lavish guest quarters, the finest food, and the most desirable entertainers. Though Makeda was accustomed to luxury, this exceeded even her expectations. Makeda was deeply impressed by his wisdom, justice, and the splendor of his court. 1 Kings 10, verses 4 to 6 state, "When the Queen of Sheba saw all the wisdom of Solomon and the palace he had built, the food on his table, the seating of his officials, the attending servants in their robes, his cupbearers, and the burnt offerings he made at the temple of the Lord, she was overwhelmed. She said to the king, 'The report I heard in my own country about your achievements and your wisdom is true.' However, Makeda left her home, traveled a long distance, and arrived in Solomon's court to test his wisdom. Makeda had prepared a set of riddles. Finally, she tested Solomon with those riddles and questions, all of which he answered with ease, further impressing her. The mutual admiration and exchange of gifts highlight a diplomatic and cultural exchange between two powerful kingdoms. Their meeting is described as transformative, with Makeda ultimately accepting Solomon's teachings and converting to Judaism. However, the Ethiopian tradition diverges from the biblical narrative with the introduction of the legend that Makeda bore Solomon a son named Menelik. According to this belief, their daily interactions deepened their mutual admiration, and despite their different faiths, they grew closer. Makeda eventually converted to Solomon's monotheistic belief. As their bond strengthened, they spent a night together, resulting in Makeda's pregnancy. Upon her return to Sheba, she gave birth to a son, Menelik. As he grew, Menelik became curious about his father and eventually traveled to Jerusalem with his mother's blessing. Solomon crowned him king of Sheba and sent him back with great honor. Under Menelik's rule, Sheba prospered, and Makeda stepped back from the spotlight, content with her son's leadership. Menelik is traditionally regarded as the first emperor of Ethiopia and the founder of the Solomonic dynasty. This dynasty, claiming direct descent from King Solomon and Queen Makeda, is said to have ruled Ethiopia for many centuries until the 20th century. The Queen of Sheba is remembered for her quest for wisdom and her courageous journey, which secured the prosperity of her kingdom. Also, the legend of Makeda and Solomon and their son Menelik plays a significant role in legitimizing the Ethiopian monarchy and cementing its connection to the biblical past. In Islamic tradition, the Queen of Sheba, known as Bilqis, ruled a wealthy kingdom associated with ancient Saba in southern Arabia. Hearing of Solomon's renowned wisdom and the grandeur of his kingdom, she journeyed to Jerusalem to meet him. Upon witnessing Solomon's wisdom and the miracles by Allah's will, she was awestruck. Solomon, inviting her into a palace of glass, presented her with a throne resembling hers, urging her to acknowledge Allah's truth. Impressed, Bilqis accepted monotheism and recognized the greatness of Solomon's faith in Allah. While the biblical narrative of the Queen of Sheba remains a blend of history and legend, scholars have explored potential historical foundations underlying this intriguing tale. Some scholars propose that the Queen of Sheba might have come from the Sabaean kingdom or another wealthy state in southern Arabia. This theory is supported by the biblical mention of her gifts of spices and precious stones, which were key commodities in southern Arabian trade. 1 Kings 10, verse 10 states, "And she gave the king 120 talents of gold, large quantities of spices, and precious stones." Never again were so many spices brought in as those the Queen of Sheba gave to King Solomon. Others argue for an Ethiopian origin, pointing to historical evidence of flourishing kingdoms in the region during ancient times. These kingdoms had connections with Arabia through trade routes across the Red Sea. Whether the tale is grounded in historical fact or embellished by legend, it serves as a bridge connecting the ancient worlds of Israel, Arabia, and East Africa, revealing the intricate tapestry of human civilization across millennia. Moreover, this story not only portrays the meeting of Queen Makeda and King Solomon as a union of two powerful rulers, but also signifies a profound cultural and religious connection between ancient Israel and Ethiopia. It highlights Ethiopia's distinctive place in biblical narratives and its ancestral claim to a royal lineage stemming from the legendary union between Solomon and the Queen of Sheba. This enduring tale remains integral to Ethiopian art, literature, and religious observances, affirming its enduring significance in the national consciousness of Ethiopia. And that concludes today's episode. We sincerely appreciate your presence. If you enjoyed our content, please consider hitting the like button, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing to our channel. Thank you for your support.